Alright, welcome to the Arthropod Lab. I did the crayfish dissection. Crayfish are in phylum Arthropoda and subphylum Crustacea. Some of the main characteristics of this phylum is that organisms have an exoskeleton, a segmented body, and jointed appendages. So, looking at these external features, we have two different sections of the crayfish of that segmented body. The cephalothorax, which is a structure containing a head fused to a thorax, and this is a derived characteristic of arthropods. And now the cephalothorax has two different sets of jointed appendages. They have the claws, the chelipeds, which are claws that are basically used for obtaining food. These are also used for offense, defense, and also to help aid in reproduction. Looking at the walking legs of the crayfish, these legs are basically used for locomotion. They also help aid in simple stuff such as handling food. Now looking at our abdomen, this is posterior to the crayfish. They contain the swimmerets, which basically are used for carrying eggs by the female during reproduction, and also help aid in swimming. So looking at the internal features of the crayfish, our heart is located in this area, and basically the crayfish possess an open circulatory system. Now we know that earthworms have a closed circulatory system containing 5 aortic arches that pump blood throughout the earthworm's body via the dorsal and ventral blood vessels. Crayfish have this open circulatory system equipped with a heart, with ostia, and that heart is connected to a complex artery system that pumps blood from anterior end to posterior end and vice versa. And so that blood is then released in the vicinity of the organs to supply nutrients. So a little bit different from earthworms, in which the blood is supplied directly to the organs. Alright, now looking at the respiratory system of our crayfish, crayfish have two feathery-like gills on either side of the body, posterior to the cephalothorax. The feathery structure is basically designed to increase surface area, which allows for water to run through the gills, and then therefore provides this continuous source of oxygen, allowing crayfish to breathe. Whereas crayfish have this specialized organ structure called gills in order to acquire oxygen. Earthworms are capable of breathing through their skin, in which they use the process of diffusion. So we see a little bit of difference in this organism, in which they have this developed specialized organ structure to help aid in respiratory system work, compared to that earthworm, which just uses its skin. So continuing on to the digestive system, crayfish have this complete digestive system. They possess a mouth, a digestive tract with esophagus, stomach, intestine, and an anus. And so this mouth is basically used for capturing prey. And as food is captured, it travels down this esophagus and enters the stomach. And the stomach has 3 different parts to it. So the food would enter the cardiac stomach, and that's where initial digestion takes place. And then it transfers to the gastric mill, where basically food is ground up by these gastric teeth. And then that food is transferred to the pyloric stomach, where it then runs through the intestine and then out the anus. This is similar to an earthworm's digestive system in that they both are complete. They have a mouth and anus, and the earthworm also has this crop where food is stored, much like the cardiac and pyloric stomachs of the crayfish. Earthworms even have the gizzard to grind up their food for mechanical digestion, much like the crayfish have in their gastric mill. So continuing on to the reproductive system, crayfish are dioecious, meaning they have separate individuals with male or female reproductive organs. In our dissection, our crayfish was a female. And we can tell by looking. We know that the ovaries are located in this section, and we can also even look at the external structure of the crayfish, in which they have a seminal receptacle right in this area. And you can tell the difference between a female and a male, where females, this area right here will open up a lot more, and the males are a lot more constricted. Basically, that seminal receptacle is where the female would store sperm, sent by the copulatory swimmerets of males. This female lays the fertilized eggs in the swimmerets of her abdomen. This is a little bit different from the reproduction earthworms, but kind of the same, in which they are earthworms are hermaphroditic. They have both structures, so there is that difference, but they still require a sexual partner for reproduction. For earthworms, reproduction occurs when two individuals meet, connect, and then transfer sperm to a seminal receptacle, and then this slime tube forms this cocoon to fertilize the eggs. This is not how it works in crayfish. Crayfish basically use that seminal receptacle, much like the earthworm, but the female then stores her eggs in her swimmerets until later on as they develop. So that is the crayfish lab. That is the crayfish dissection, and yeah, that's it.